I'm Kayla Rochelle. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. And the reality is, you may have been approaching success incorrectly. Most often, people measure their success by the outcome of their performance and the minimal presence of any failure. If you've ever experienced repeated hopelessness and wondered to yourself, why me? If you've ever beat yourself up over an outcome despite how hard you've tried. If you've ever wondered why other people are able to do what you cannot, then this video is for you. I want to share with you ways that you can accomplish success by increasing your attunement to the emotions that surround your perception of failure. We were born to grow. Starting in our infancy, we took on challenging tasks, and we still have it in us. By living in our culture and absorbing the information and seeing judgments, we take on this belief that in order to be successful, we have to be accepted. What that does is that brings limitation to the kind of experiences that we allow ourselves to have. To be loved and to be accepted by people oftentimes means avoiding risks, avoiding the judgment. And by our very nature, we decrease our willingness to take risks. We start to take very calculated steps in order to achieve or accomplish this perception of what success is supposed to be. One of the reasons why a growth mindset is the most powerful thought is because it contradicts one of the most problematic thoughts. It's the thought that says our difficulties can never change. The perspective that things can never change is the breeding ground for despair and hopelessness. It's the opposite of growth. Most people in this space have put a lot of emphasis on growth mindset equating to success and change and accomplishments. I think all of those things are good. We want those. However, we're missing something about what a growth mindset can be and a helpful tool that it is to managing our emotions so that we can go after some of the successes that we want in life. In short, we cannot deny the emotion attached to success or failure. Here's a self-assessment. Is your mindset holding you back? Do you often try to look smarter or more talented than others? Do you avoid challenges that could reveal your lack of raw, natural talent? Do you tend to attribute success to your natural ability rather than the process? For example, hard work or effective strategies. Do you think that needing to work harder than others means you're less talented than them? If you answered yes to any of these questions, that's a sign of fixed mindset thinking. Success oftentimes comes from a place of struggle, not talent. It comes from persistence, courage, and the ability to think differently. People with a fixed mindset are afraid of effort. It's the belief that effort is a sign that you have to put in the work. It's this implied message that says, if you need to put in effort, this doesn't come naturally to you like others. Automatically, that puts you in the position of compare and contrast. It's the thought that you don't have the natural ability, and if you had the natural ability, it'd be easy. The reality is that opposition is ever present. Life is full of stress, and stress is your chance to grow. You can redeem failure, this perception of failure. The words failure carries meaning. There's this story, there's this perception, there's this idea that you have associated with failure, and it's up to you to find out what that is. To touch more on failure and fixed mindset thinking is that fixed mindset thinking aims to protect your ego. Fixed mindset will try to protect you in ways that if you run the risk of failure, if you run the risk of making a mistake, judgments are going to happen. Rejection is bound to happen. Ostracization is bound to happen. These are all societal messages that we've picked up on and have attributed to this sense of failure, this meaning of failure. If you're falling into fixed mindset thinking, here's some steps that you can take to build a growth mindset. Step number 1 is to recognize what potential you carry. What successes, what abilities have you had in your past that you could borrow and apply to your present? Ask yourself this one question. In what ways can you see that you are a high performer with high velocity for change? You must believe that a negative rating of yourself can change. Step number 2 is to troubleshoot and to look for and strategize specific ways that you can change. You want to position yourself to troubleshoot specific patterns in your day-to-day that you can fine-tune, tweak, and position yourself to outperform. Step number 3 is to tell yourself a different story. Anytime you've experienced difficulty, that is a good thing. That is a sign that when you receive challenge or when you receive setback, it shows that you've made the decision to take on something that was hard. And what that does is that builds your tolerance to distress. Rather than avoiding what could make you look weak or what could bring out mistakes that you have made in yourself, without any of those challenges, without any of the resistance, how does a person see growth? Whenever you start to experience a stress response, it's a sign that your body is ready to mobilize. Anytime you start to experience sweaty palms or a fast heartbeat or racing thoughts, your body is gearing up to mobilize. It's a resource. Your body is resourcing itself to embrace the challenge ahead. When a person experiences high demand with low resources, that is when a person experiences negative outcomes. When a person lacks the training or the tools to endure a challenging circumstance. So a big component of the growth mindset is to build resilience. Resilience is built when you have memory or experience of high demand and high resources. Growth mindset thinking would say, how can I build my resources so that if I experience this life event again, I won't come out of it in a negative outcome? What can I do to be better? Is a good question to ask yourself in order to adopt growth mindset thinking. Again, my name is Kayla Rochelle. If this video was helpful for you in any way, be sure to drop a comment of something that stood out to you in this video. If you have any questions, I'll be sure to respond there. If you liked this video, be sure to drop this video a like and share it with anybody who you think might benefit from this. And I'll see you in next week's video.